Hello, welcome to another video on the big answer, the single biggest answer to life's biggest questions. As usual, if you're new, please start with the video Book 1, Intro to the Big Answer, and then watch the chapters that come before this one, as we'll be building on what we've covered so far. There are a lot of questions around what a world would look like if AI and robots were able to perform almost every job, which is something that feels closer and closer to reality every day. Obviously, no one really knows, including myself. I understand that any attempt I make will look incredibly foolish a short time from now. I actually just watched some videos from the 70s where people thought that by the early 2000s, we would be spending all our time sitting in front of flickering CRT screens, completely computer-bound and no longer interacting with each other. Obviously, that hasn't happened. So for now, this video is just something that's hopefully interesting to ponder, and probably a few short years from now, it will be something to laugh at. The main thing I wanted to address was the idea that a world where people aren't needed would be a bleak one. So what's one possible, positive future where humans aren't needed and don't have to do anything? First, here are some assumptions I'm making. I'm watching Neuralink's progress, and while I can see a future where information can be read directly from the brain, I don't currently see a path to putting complex information directly back into the brain. So I don't see merging human minds and machines in the near future, for which both input and output is needed. I can see money being obsolete. It just doesn't make sense when there's no way to make money. And if you say, we'll still need people for it. No, we won't. Yes, they'll be able to do that too. And that as well. No, they can't right now, but they will. Yes, even that. So the context I'm picturing is a world where AI and robots can do literally everything and anything people can do, and do it better, cheaper, and faster, without humans being able to augment themselves enough to stay relevant. In this world, I see the relationship between AI and humans to be somewhat similar to the relationship between a dog and the world's best dog owner, where the AI is in the role of the owner. I know that might feel uncomfortable, but bear with me. I will make sure we're getting good, healthy food, exercise, and socialization, that we're learning new things and getting enough downtime. And every one of these would be customized to us, our likes and preferences, our bodies, our strengths and weaknesses, etc. Starting as kids, AI will be watching us and learning every little detail about us. What gets us excited, what kinds of people we like, how music affects us, how we respond to praise or put-downs, setbacks, conflict, etc., how we relate to others, our gifts, our limitations, how we learn best, and on and on. It will then work with us directly, as well as how our parents and teachers best foster our growth. The first objection people make is that this is creepy, but we won't notice, just like most people ignore the fact they have a video and audio recording device in their pocket at all times today. The second thing is that a rosy, easy life where everything is perfect will make terrible people, and in fact, people will hate it. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not sure why people think that utopia will suck. To me, that is definitionally not utopia. We will interact with AI friends and AI teaching assistants who can present us with betrayal, lies, arguments, judgment, criticism, misunderstanding, etc. as we grow, all customized to our level of development in order to learn to have high emotional intelligence, good personal boundaries, recognize unhealthy behavior and communication, how to be resilient, how to draw on our sense of inner self-worth, be independent, and have good, healthy interactions with people, etc. People also say we need failure and challenge to grow. That's true, but we can grow just as much from healthy challenges and setbacks as unhealthy ones, and without the negative side effects. Healthy challenges can be learning a new language or musical instrument, gardening, baking, setting fitness goals, or competing in sports, etc. And these will all come with failure when we push ourselves. AI can encourage these healthy challenges and help us grow from failure. I agree that AI should make our lives one of ease and leisure and endless pleasure, as that would actually suck. So, this is how I picture kids being raised. What do they do when they're older? I believe that in a world where kids are raised to be healthy, happy, self reliant, self motivated, and passionate about learning and doing things that bring them joy, then certain jobs will continue to be done by people rather than robots or AI, simply because so many people are doing them as a hobby. If you look at the hobbies people tend to have, they include gardening, building, wood and metalworking, glass blowing, pottery, tinkering with mechanics, fiber arts, weaving, sewing, knitting, etc., music, art, cooking, and baking, volunteering, teaching anything from sports to acting, makeup and hairstyling, a variety of health-related jobs, and things like that. So if AI and robots could do all the menial, repetitive, gross, and dangerous jobs that no one, or at least not enough people, would do as a hobby, then suddenly hundreds of millions of people would be able to do the types of things that, right now, people do as hobbies. So much so, in fact, that AI and robots might not even be needed for these jobs at all or minimally. Imagine if houses were built by people who love designing and building amazing, unique houses, who could take their time doing so, and so could do a ton of cool, creative little features, and do everything to really high standards. These houses would be far better than the ones mass-produced today and would last longer, meaning we wouldn't need robots to build them, though they could help with carrying materials and cleaning up the job site, etc. Imagine if enough people were building artisanal furniture that everyone could have handmade pieces adorning their homes. Imagine enough people enjoyed fiber arts that all your clothes were custom, handmade pieces that you loved. Imagine beautifully landscaped public spaces kept up by people who just love spending time with nature and plants, and most food was grown locally and organically. Imagine the public spaces being adorned with art and sculptures, with musicians playing for people who live in most places you go, all done because people genuinely want to. As for laws and enforcement, I imagine AI monitoring with cameras everywhere. Sounds oppressive, right? But rather than having strict rules for everyone and everything, and these rules being based on the lowest common denominator, the rules are flexible and based on each person and situation. For example, if no cars are coming, you can go ahead and jaywalk. If you're not causing any disruption, you can drink in public. If you've shown you have the knowledge and skill and responsibility to make safe campfires, you can make a fire when you go camping, but another person who isn't any of these things wouldn't be able to. In a world like this, people who are considerate, conscientious, and responsible would get to do more things. Note that I'm not talking about a social credit system, which is where you are rewarded with points based on doing things the system wants or being docked points when you do something wrong. In a social credit system, you might get a discount on concert tickets because you picked up trash, or you get a higher interest rate on a bank loan because you littered. I'm only talking about direct repercussions, similar to how today you get better interest rates when you show you're good with handling credit, or you get to drive a car when you show you're competent to do so. I am personally not in favor of social credit systems. In this world, we would see maximally effective, passionate, healthy, stable people. We'd be surrounded by amazing, handmade things, and we have maximal freedom and fairness based on logic and context and personal responsibility rather than sweeping, generalized, oppressive rules that apply to everyone at all times regardless of context. I came to this vision by simply looking at each area of life through the lens of the 7 qualities and trying to think of how to maximize each one in each area in ways that were also mutually beneficial to the other qualities. For example, let's go through the areas again and just analyze them from the standpoint of one quality, stability. As mentioned, people say that an easy life makes for wimpy people. So looking at maximizing stability in people emotionally made me think of building in healthy and developmentally appropriate social challenges, setbacks, failures, and the like, and then guiding kids through figuring out how to deal with those. Teaching kids about the world, people, science, etc. creates a framework of reality that is stable because new experiences and information are consistent with their beliefs and expectations. Physical health is also a form of stability in terms of resistance to disease and injuries, and being able to care for oneself and do things on one's own. A world where people are knowledgeable, emotionally stable, are fostered in pursuing their interests and passions, where people derive meaning and purpose from pursuing these passions. They have healthy relationships, can pursue personal growth, have maximal freedom, and the only restrictions make sense and seem fair, etc., makes for a stable society where people aren't wanting to overthrow it. A world where people are growing all kinds of food using all kinds of methods that rely less on pesticide, herbicide, fungicide, fertilizer, and water, which builds soil, supports the natural ecosystem, etc., is naturally much more resistant to disease, drought, pests, and so on, which all makes for maximal food stability. Families and friendships between people who have been raised to have good communication, who are emotionally intelligent and healthy, who can spend quality time together, etc., are also going to be more stable. So TBA shows that it is in fact possible to have a world where we don't really need to do anything, where money and jobs are obsolete, and where we can live lives full of meaning and purpose by contributing to society through pursuing their passions and exploring and expressing their individuality and identity, experience personal growth through healthy challenges, and can find a sense of achievement, fulfillment, etc. I've left a lot out in this vision. It's already one of my longest videos, but hopefully that is enough to give you an idea of how one could use TBA and the 7 qualities to tackle this issue. And that's also probably enough information that if you have ideas or questions of your own, it wouldn't take too much thinking about it to figure out how it could be addressed or fit into the world I outlined. And with that, we're at the end of book 1. In the next book, we'll be going into more technical detail about each of the 7 qualities to get clear on what they are and how they apply to and explain reality, as well as introduce a few more concepts that will make them even more widely applicable and able to explain what you might be currently thinking of as weak points or exceptions to this model. We will even be using these qualities to explain things that many people currently find counterintuitive about the world we live in. I'll see you there, and in the meantime, do good smart.